Hello, EduMagicians. Welcome to the EduMagic Podcast with your host, Dr. Sam Fecich. Dr. Sam is a professor of education, author of EduMagic, and a pumpkin spice latte fan. This podcast is designed for pre-service teachers. Remember, friends, teaching doesn't begin at graduation, but during that first class at 8 a.m. Let's get this party started.
This podcast is a proud member of the Teach Better Podcast Network. Better today, better tomorrow, and the podcast to get you there. Explore more podcasts at www.teachbetterpodcastnetwork.com. Now let's get on to the episode.
Hello, EduMagicians, or should I say EduMagic participants. It's awesome to have you here at this wonderful conference all about AI. My name is Dr. Sam Fecich, and today I'm going to be sharing about AI and UDL. So let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. So when we look at UDL, I'm sure you automatically think of these three guidelines: engagement, representation, and action and expression. These are all best practices to have when we're designing lessons. We don't want UDL to be, oh, I forgot to throw in my UDL stuff, I got to pop it in now. No, it really should be something that's thought of in the forefront of lesson design and delivery. So there's three ways to use the UDL framework. And we have multiple means of engagement. So helping students understand interest and bringing their identities into the classroom, sustaining effort and persistence. So giving them challenge problems and understanding why they're doing the content, emotional capacity, recognizing your expectations, developing self-awareness, promoting reflection. And there's multiple means of representation. I think as teachers, we do this part really well. So having multiple ways to present the information to students, using diverse perspectives, clarifying vocab for language and symbols, and cultivating an understanding of language and vocab, building knowledge to make sure we're connecting back to that prior knowledge, highlighting critical thinking, and generalizing content. And then our last one is action and expression. This one's all about interaction for students, so giving them multiple ways to interact with the content, expression and communication, using different types of media to communicate, multiple tools to communicate, and then strategy and development. This one's all about goal setting, organizing information, and resources. So I go over all of that to say today we're focusing in on UDL as our framework to work with AI. So I think when we look at artificial intelligence, it's so easy to just get overwhelmed with the tools. There seems to be something new every day when it comes to AI. But if we look at it through a framework, and today we're going to look at the lens through UDL, it really can be a dream team for learning. So welcome to our session, a nice little preview there. My name is Dr. Sam. I'm a professor of education. Right now, I am an instructor at Slippery Rock University, where I work with pre-service teachers, and I also get to oversee some of our student teachers. I'm the author of EduMagic, a guide for pre-service teachers, published by EduMagic. So if you're looking for a fantastic book for a future teacher, you're going to want to check out EduMagic. There are a few more that I've written as well for EduMagic, and you can check those out on EduMagic's website. I'm also the host of the EduMagic Podcast. You can find out more and all of my work over on sfecich.com. So let's go ahead and jump into our presentation. I know it's not October yet, and I know candy corn can be a little controversial. We either love it or we hate it, but it's kind of like AI, right? We either love it or we're not so sure about it. Just like candy corn, AI is not going away. I don't see candy corn going away anytime soon. So I wanted to kind of frame our presentation with a little bit of sweet treats there. So if we think of the yellow part of the candy corn as our foundational pieces, the definition, the pros and the cons, considerations to make when using AI. The orange piece or the middle piece kind of keeps everything together. That'll be our UDL framework. And the white piece of the candy corn, the very top piece, will be the tools that we use. And today I'm going to be showing some DiffIt, some Padlet, and Magic School, and how they work within the UDL framework. So I'd love for you guys to go ahead and drop down in the chat. What is your experience with AI? 1, I've heard of it. 2, I've dabbled with it. Or 3, I use it daily. So for example, I used AI this morning to help me craft an email. I also used it for a quick reply. Then I'm able to free up some brain space. How am I going to reply to this email? Oh, this is a great starting point. So go ahead and drop that down. And now I want you to think about what words come to mind when you hear artificial intelligence. Maybe it's a word or a phrase that comes to mind. Sometimes people write in here robots or the future or a specific tool or product. So let's go ahead and talk about and define some of the terms that we're using today. We're going to start with artificial intelligence or AI. And of course, I asked Copilot, what is AI? And this is what it came up with. Artificial intelligence refers to the theory and development of computer systems capable of performing tasks that historically required human intelligence, such as recognizing speech, making decisions, and solving problems. So let's boil that down a little bit. So AI is computer systems doing tasks that we thought previously only humans can do. And what AI does, it has access to a vast amount of information online, and it pulls and looks for patterns throughout that vast amounts of information and gives us a reply or a response. And it looks magical, right? Well, it's actually just looking at data and parsing out the data and looking for those patterns. AI can help support in so many different areas, military, healthcare, education. And I really do believe AI can help support us as teachers and help support the learning of our students. Now, if you look at the AI report developed by the Office of Ed Tech, you're going to see throughout that report that the main goal is humans in the loop. It always says humans in the loop, meaning we just can't copy paste whatever AI says and give it to our students. We have to edit and look through it and decipher it and see if it's going to work for us. Because sometimes when we put information into AI, it's like, what is that? Nope, that's not what I was looking for. But we can't just copy and paste and share it with our students. We have to be in the loop. We have to always be looking at that. And yes, AI is a fantastic starting point for some of our projects and our planning, but it's not the end point. We will never be replaced by AI. AI is a tool, just like we use Word and editor and those types of things. I really think AI is a tool that can help support us as teachers. We know that AI's history is unfolding, and this is a little snippet from a textbook that I use. It's called AI in the Classroom. And we can see that in the history of AI, there have been a lot of landmarks in AI history. So in 1956, the term AI was first coined. In 2022, ChatGPT opened up. Then 2023, Bard, or now Gemini. And now we have Copilot and all sorts of AI tools developed for education. But we can see that AI has a very rich history. Generative AI in 2022 with ChatGPT is the newer history of AI. And it's more of a conversational type AI that we're using. Maybe you've used AI already. So AI is hiding in plain sight. There's two types of AI, weak and strong. We'll start with weak AI first. This is something, if you've ever used a little chat bot that pops up on a website like bloop, and it's like, hello, how can I help you? That is an example of weak AI because it's only using the information on that specific website to comb through and find that data. Where tools like Gemini, ChatGPT 4 and Copilot are more strong AI because they're able to have access to vast amounts of data. You can now upload content into those tools as well to get more robust answers. And AI is embedded in a lot of our tools. So maybe you have used Hulu and it's like 98% match on this other show you might like. That's using AI. Using Alexa, she's in the other room. I don't want her to turn on. Using Siri, those types of things. Using AI, using suggestions. But when we're using AI, there are lots of benefits. We also have to consider the cons because there are drawbacks and considerations to everything. So some benefits, specifically thinking about teachers and education, it can save us time. It can help us with generating emails and lesson plans and activities and ideas for our students to differentiate content, come up with math word problems, examples of real life situations. It can help us personalize learning so I can differentiate and personalize content for my students. There are tools like Khan Academy, Khan Mingo that can be a personal tutor for students and really personalize that feedback and help them with their learning. But there are considerations we need to take into account. For example, when we review that content that it's providing us, we need to look for biases or untrue information or hallucinations in the responses. So again, we're not just copying and pasting it and using it as is. We're refining, we're editing, we're adding and we're really making that content our own. AI is a great starting place, but again, it's not the start and end point of our planning and our delivery. So again, we're going to look at some of these tools through the UDL framework. So it might be helpful throughout this presentation, pull up the CAST website, that's CAST, the CAST website, and look at the UDL framework and keep these three big buckets in mind: the engagement, representation, action, and expression. As we explore these three tools, we're going to look at DiffIt first, then we're going to check out Padlet and Magic School, and we're going to look at it, how they align to the to the UDL framework. I'm sorry about that. All right, so here's our UDL framework. We're going to keep those in mind as we explore these tools. First one we're going to look at is DiffIt. So let's go ahead and check it out. With a DiffIt, you can upload content, you can search for content, you can put a link to content, or you can copy and paste. So I'm going to go to one of my favorite websites, and we are going to check out National Geographic Kids. And my daughter and I love to look at the animals on National Geographic Kids. But some of the words in the articles are a little difficult for her to read. So what I like to do, let's go ahead and pull up. We're going to load some more animals. Here we go. We're going to go to the chinstrap penguin. And we're going to grab this URL. We're going to head over to DiffIt. We're going to pop it in here. And we can choose nonfiction or fiction. This is nonfiction. We can choose a grade level and a language. You can see there's many languages to select. I'm going to stick with English and click Generate Resources. What it's going to do is going to pull information just from that website that I gave it. And it's going to create a summary, vocab list. Let me log in there. A summary, a vocab list, short answer responses, multiple choice questions, and an adapted reading passage. And we'll let it pull up here those responses. And you can choose the picture here. I kind of like that one. Here's our adapted reading passage. Here's our 3-point summary. Here's our vocab. Tells us what part of speech it is. Here's our multiple choice questions. Whoops. With answers, so I can show the answers there. Short answer, guess what? With answers. Open-ended response. And I like this open-ended response. Sometimes they are really good at anticipatory sets or exit tickets. Like, think about a time you had to share something with someone. How did you feel? How did the other person feel? And then you can link it back to our friends, the chin strap penguins. So DiffIt does all of this and more. And this is where I start to sound like a little bit of an infomercial. So I can go to see all export options. Activities for the chin strap penguin. Here, they have featured items that are free this month, a discussion workbook, a drag and drop slide, and you can look to see what else they have free this month. They have some bubble map workbook, Google quiz that goes into forms, printable documents, and you can click on these and it'll access those. So I'm going to go to this one, the vocabulary drag and drop slide, export the activity. It needs some think time. And here we go. Here's our drag and drop slides with our vocab words and our definitions. And I can export the activity. I can also customize it and make it my own for my students. I can download it as a PowerPoint or as Google Slides. So that one is really fun. Here's my read and take notes. Here, what I really like about this is, why did you pick that answer? Going back for text evidence, which would be really nice. And then here you can go ahead and it has like extra slides in there if you would like to use those. So DiffIt offers so many ways to differentiate. And if we go back to our UDL framework, I'm looking here at multiple means of representation. It can also bring in perception, language and symbols, expression and communication, different ways to present that information to students. And then I love that it also has outlines available for students, so organized information and resources. So DiffIt, fantastic tool that aligns with that UDL framework. The next one we're going to look at is Padlet. Now, if you haven't looked at Padlet in a while, you're going to want to revisit it because there's some AI aspects embedded. So if I go to AI recipes, you can see here they have ideas for class activities, map of historical events, assessment and polls, timeline, class activity creator, lesson plan, reading list, and rubric. And you can go in and it will help you create this material. Now, how does this relate to the UDL framework? What I like about this is for ideas for class activities. And I might go on in here and type in science, first and second grade, unclick higher ed, topic or lesson objectives. We'll do life cycle of a plant. And then I can go ahead and get more specific, click create, give it some think time, and it's going to come up with a list of activities that I can do in my class related to the life cycle of a plant. We'll let it think here. And then there's other ones I can click on, like discussion board, questions that students can participate in. I love the timeline, and I've used that for educational technology, or show me the history of reading instructions, show me the history of artificial intelligence, and it creates a pretty robust timeline. So here's all sorts of different ideas that I can use about the life cycle of a plant. You'll notice it's pulling up websites, videos from YouTube. I love the life cycle art, dramatic play, bracelet craft. But this picture doesn't really go with the plant life cycle because it goes with the butterfly life cycle. But these are great little idea seeds, right? That you can start to look for, like, oh, that's a cool idea. I can use that. Or you might bounce ideas off of this, like, oh, I'm going to start with maybe some dramatic play, but then how can I expand that more? Maybe I can find a book or some literacy connections. So when I look at this for UDL, I see multiple means of representation. I see action and expression, so many ways to engage students. All right, so we are in Magic School, and one of the really neat options, you can see that they have vocabulary list generator. Some fun ones are decodable text, but there's a lot we can do here. One of the ones I wanted to show you is Text Leveler. That's a fantastic tool for UDL. I can level and personalize my text that I have for students. Another one is Real World Connections. Choice Board UDL is another great one that connects within Magic School. So if I do Choice Board for UDL, and we'll look at an exemplar, 9th grade mitosis, and we'll click generate. It gives us a little choice board. Now, this is just one little snippet from Magic School. But here I can see action, expression, representation, just with that little example there of the UDL choice board. So if you're looking for some UDL connections in Magic School, definitely try the choice board, the text leveler, and the real world connections. All right, so we explored lots of different tools that relate to AI within the UDL framework. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or compliments, totally send them over to me over on Instagram at sfecich or sfecich.com. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Have a wonderful conference, and bye for now.
And there you have it, EduMagicians. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends. For more EduMagic, check out sfecich.com and follow Dr. Sam on Twitter and Instagram at sfecich. Until next time, you have the EduMagic within you.